Have you ever wondered, what if the twisted tunes of Dandy's world were terrifying? What if only imagining them shivered your spine? Well, Vita Biosphere has too, and has created this alternate universe far from the colorful and cheerful. It submerges into the dark, violent, and deeply disturbing. Here you'll see an alternate version of the tunes that, honestly, I'd rather keep the furthest away from me. So let's begin. The alternate universe Vita Biosphere has made was at the beginning known as Horror World, although it was later renamed to Fear Garden. In this universe, Twisteds are categorized on the next types. The passive, completely harmless and will not attack the player. Aggressive will attack the player at sight, but it will only cause little damage. Dangerous. This level causes more damage than aggressive. Deadly. Great damage potential and can kill you in 2 hits. Be careful. Lethal. Receive a single hit and you'll be... Besides this, there's also a new type of transformation ichor that can corrupt the tunes into, known as Abyssal Tunes, which are found on the Abyssal Zone. The Abyssal Zone is an area located at the very bottom, below Garden View, the source of the lies. This area can only be unlocked when all extraction machines throughout the entirety of Garden View are completed. Dandy will then tell you that you've done a great job and that you're able to leave Garden View and enter the surface now. He's a liar. Once you enter the elevator and prepare to leave, he'll take you down the abyss, crashing the elevator. You'll have to work your way back up and to the surface.
Pebble.
Pebble was the first successful genetic experiment, as it started off with making small life forms out of ichor. Once he was made, that greenlit the creators into making the main tunes. He stares into the void and acts like a real dog. He begs the workers to play with him or to get pets, but since everyone is busy, he's often alone and whines. When Dandy was created, Pebble was assigned to be his loyal bud. And since then, Pebble has been happier with his new caretaker that finally gives him the attention he needs.
Twisted Pebble. Threat level, deadly.
One of the fastest tunes. His speeds matches Astro's, so tread carefully. Thanks to his sharp sight, he can spot you across the room. He has no front legs and has huge back legs, which means when running, this mane leans forward and accelerates, becoming faster the longer it chases you. This twisted only spawns when you anger Dandy. Instead of Dandy spawning, he sends his dog after you. If you want to obtain Pebble, you'll have to risk angering him. You can distract him temporarily if you have any sort of bone or treat for him.
Event.
If you get caught by him, he will bury you and damage you, thinking you're some sort of toy or bone. If you manage to survive being buried, start digging out when he leaves before you run out of oxygen. This even requires you to rapidly click to dig your way out.
Abyssal Pebble.
In his abyssal form, Pebble completely lacks, exposing his tendons and palpitating. His body is covered in rows of sharp teeth, which seem to move even when he's standing. From his back it emerges a long tail with a pointy end, as sharp as a blade, and his head seems to be an amalgamation of multiple mouths superimposed, which open up to show his exposed skull, as if the flesh itself was torn apart, only leaving a heinous monster behind.
But before thanking your support, I'll be preparing a poster with all of you. Each video, I'll pick one of your OCs at random to include it. To participate, post a drawing of yours in my YouTube community or tag me on TikTok or Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss any content of Dandy's World.
Astro.
Astro enjoys the silence and solitude, but he still makes an effort to interact with the other tunes, offering help to those who need it most, despite being quiet most of the time. His temperature is normal, but he is cold to the touch. He had a procedure successfully performed recently, and Novolite's condition has greatly improved since.
Twisted Astro. Threat level, deadly.
Encountering this mane on the floor can be anxiety-inducing. This mane is passive at first and will only hunt you down if the slightest sound is made, meaning that throughout the entire floor you must walk and not run. Thankfully, this mane took out his twisted allies that made noise and annoyed him, making the floor somewhat easier. Nonetheless, a few twisted can spawn alongside him. Twisteds are quiet, of course, those being Tisha, Roger, Teagan, Flutter, and Brightney. When he's passive, he will look at you with that unhinged smile of his, gently placing his finger against his lips, gesturing to you to be quiet. The smallest of sounds is enough to alert him instantly. In the OG game, those with 4-star movement speeds can outwalk him. In this world, however, Astro is insanely fast when alerted. Get covered quickly and quietly and stay out of sight.
Event.
If you're on his field of view and he sees you, he will release a gas to slow you down, making you dizzy, and your movement controls will be inverted. Remain quiet for more than 10 seconds without being caught, and he'll lose interest.
Abyssal Astro.
In his abyssal form, Astro has multiple arms that he uses as legs to move around, squirming with each move. His torso completely lacks the upper limbs, which accentuates his unnatural figure. His face draws an expression of eternal agony, as if every second of his existence was a torment he couldn't escape.
V.
The only AI toon to ever be created by Ichor, V bases her solutions off of logic and reason. She shows absolute confidence in her abilities and wants her team to be their best selves. However, she can come off as too blunt with her words, and those same words can be taken as slight insults. Possesses a dismissive personality towards the majority of the toons, has a soft spot for her close friends.
Twisted V. Threat level deadly.
This main character gives you stress. She's slow, but she makes up for that by slowly extending her body to catch you and put you on her show. The game will give you signs to identify when V spawns. The TVs on the map will be displaying eyes that follow you around and pop up trivia questions. V is a special case as she is her own floor. Her floor is her game show. Players are forced to play her game if they get caught. And if they fail to answer a question, the player is punished with an electric shock. If the player wants to avoid playing her game, they can use cables to temporarily stun her and escape her line of sight.
Event.
When encountering her face-to-face, she will put the player on a pedestal, giving you even harder questions that you must answer under seconds. You must get a certain number of questions correct to survive. Answer wrong too many times and you'll be met with a fatal punishment. She has an event cooldown of 40 seconds, so work fast and get out of there.
Dandy.
The star of the show, the one who runs the Ichor operation, the first successful toon to be created, filled with everlasting compassion, aiding his fellow toons and bringing smiles to those in need. He will do everything in his power to secure the future of Garden View. The embodiment of fear and control. Welcome to Fear Garden. Dandy is able to manipulate the Ichor that runs throughout the facility, shaping its form to his advantage. There's more than one form that he can embody, each form representing a phobia. Something happened. I wonder what changed.
Form 1. Thanatophobia. Fear of death.
At the center, Dandy reveals a dark eye that observes in silence, while the 6 colorful wings spin like rotten petals stuck on a whirlwind. Each revolution drags light to the core, as if life itself is being consumed by a voracious void that leaves nothing behind.
Form 2. Arachnophobia. The fear of spiders.
Dandy's body is shaped in a long and wreathing figure. It stands on multiple thin needle-like legs which thrust into the floor with each step. From his skull, withered petals emerge like a flower growing above a corn. His jaw drips dark droplets, and with each move, it produces a dry, rustling sound, like bones crumbling in the dim light. When he approaches, it feels like hundreds of legs crawl onto your skin.
Form 3 is claustrophobia and chirophobia. The fear of tight spaces and hands.
It represents the fear of tight spaces and losing control. The Ichor slides like a liquid shadow, crawling on the floor and on the walls until consuming every corner. Dark arms emerge from the gloom. They twirl and grip until the air itself becomes scarce, and the pressure becomes asphyxiating. There's no movement, just the feel of the world shrinking around you.
Form 4. Trypophobia. Fear of many holes.
The fourth form is a vision that perforates the mind. His body is covered by multiple irregular holes, like flesh from the inside, breathing and palpitating as if something was moving underneath. The Ichor leaks through each orifice, dripping slowly, making patterns impossible to ignore. His face is an open void, a swarm of cavities that appear to observe you from everywhere. For him, approaching is not needed, as with only glancing in his direction will make your skin prickle and turn your stomach. Trypophobia doesn't need to touch you. It already has you.
Form 5, entomophobia, the fear of bugs.
His many legs move in an unceasing rhythm, as if each of them has its own will. His exoskeleton rustles as he progresses. His head, crowned by his once bright petals, leans on erratic movement while the dry sound of his treading is mixed with an almost imperceptible buzzing, like thousands of tiny insects breathing inside of him. Standing nearby feels like having something crawling beneath your skin.
Form 6, trypanophobia, the fear of needles.
His mouth is covered in rows of needles, like teeth, while big injections are on his back, pulsing as if they were also alive. His body reclines forward, lurking like a beast about to jump. The metallic sound of the needles is accompanied by the constant dripping of the ichor, making you feel like you're in a twisted operating room. Just with observing him, the body itself strains, as if you could already feel the needle penetrating your skin.
Form number 7 is omatophobia, the fear of many eyes.
The 7th form is like a presence that observes you before you even gaze at it. Dozens of eyes open up on his body as alive cracks, blinking asynchronically. Each sight seems to perforate the skin, looking for a corner of the mind in which to hide, to continue observing you. His multiple arms squirm like roots, and on the web of flesh and pupils, a single central eye dominates all the others. Static, motionless, impossible to ignore. Standing in front of it is to feel that there's no escape of the sight, even if you close your eyes.
Form number 8, nyctophobia, the fear of darkness.
The 8th form is the fear of darkness personified, suspended in the void, only his smiling face and his floating petals, as if the darkness itself was holding him. His eyes, black and empty, seem to absorb the light surrounding them, leaving behind only silence and a chilling sensation sliding down your spine. His smile remains unmoved, but something behind observes. The void is not a background, it is a pit, and if you get too close, you may fall into it. You won't be able to see anything, but he will see you. In addition to these, Vita Biosphere accepted some suggestions of morphobias Dandy could personify.
Mycophobia, the fear of fungi and mold. Hemophobia, the fear of... Emetophobia, the fear of vomiting or just vomit. Colrophobia, the fear of clowns. And automatonophobia, the fear of non-living human-like figures, mannequins, dolls, automatons, animatronics, etc. Teagan.
The most elegant and understanding tune to emerge, Teagan is calm and composed, and never jumps to conclusions. She shows no bias and doesn't judge tunes for who they are. Teagan loves to throw tea parties for her fellow tunes. She knows which tea is suited for each tune. Sometimes she'll maybe even bake a few treats to make it extra special. She cares deeply for her fellow tunes and treats them with kindness.
Twisted Teagan. Threat level lethal.
Her head, body, and shattered to the floor. This Twisted seemed unable to keep anything on her body. Her figure is similar to a mannequin, with every joint being able to bend in any direction. This Twisted only moves when the player isn't paying attention to her. When the player is in her line of sight, you can notice that her arms are out, looking as if she's chasing you. Break out of her line of sight to avoid getting chased. Be sure to keep an eye on this Twisted. If a player dies Teagan, she will decapitate them and wear their head.
Sprout.
Sprout is abrasive and uninterested in interacting with others he doesn't know. He has an adventurous personality and can be overprotective of his friends, especially his best friend Cosmo, to the point that he prohibits any negative comments about him. He has good intentions despite being pushy and blunt, looking over all his friends' well-being and making sure they all eat good.
Twisted Sprout. Threat level deadly.
Having to get around with his arms is very difficult. The reason behind why he is significantly slower than the other mains. The seeds on his body are actually his eyes. But because of this enhancement, he's become slightly deaf. Sprout has grown roots on the floor off of the other previous tunes that have crossed him and perished. Be sure to stay away from these roots as they will drain your stamina. When a player is playing as Cosmo, do not let them be seen by Sprout, for he will kidnap Cosmo to keep him with him eternally. Sprout will not attack Cosmo ever, but he will feed him Ichor-backed goods, turning his friend into a twisted so that they can remain friends forever.
Event.
When caught by him, he will control his roots to strangle you, and the player will have to spam A and D as fast as possible to escape, becoming fertilizer for his plants.
Shelly.
Shelly is kind to all of her friends and doesn't mind when she's forgotten at times, as it's easy to remind them with her terrifying strength. She can be quite an airhead with simple facts sliding over her head and often forgetting why she walked into a room. Aside from her silliness, she proves to be extremely helpful with her strength and knowledge in geology. She can ramble on and on about geology while taking on many different hobbies.
Twisted Shelly. Threat level, deadly.
Her appearance is enough to make you question if you want to live or not. The amount of dread she carries leaks into others, constantly putting every twisted around her on edge. With her massive size, Shelly only spawns on floors that are more suited for her size. Getting caught by her once is already a major warning. One strike from her makes the player slowly decay, taking more damage while also decreasing their movement speed. If you were to be killed by her, she will preserve and tactilize you.
Event.
The player must keep focus on Shelly while looking into her unsightly face. The game will attempt to force your mouse away from looking at her. If you'll look away, she will murder you on the spot. Out of all domains, she is the easiest toon to obtain.
Goob.
The younger brother of Scraps. This fluffy craft has a big heart and a joyful, innocent personality. He loves giving hugs to his friends and showing them that it is a great remedy. Goob is filled with energy and sometimes gets a little too excited to the point he doesn't register his surroundings. This leads to him not being able to read the room, or to him losing items easily. He's trying his best, and that's what matters.
Twisted Goob. Threat level, passive.
When on a floor without his sister, he is completely harmless, for his arms are completely ripped off his main body. Without his sister's technology, he's helpless and harmless. With Scraps on the same floor, he will have his hands. This twisted will actively pull you toward him, but he won't harm you. He just wants a hug. But his sister doesn't see that, and she will attack and sting you. There are also times that if you look close enough, the two siblings have traded body parts. Mainly their mechanical parts. Scraps and Goob are always most likely going to spawn together, but there are chances of one showing up without the other. He just wants a hug.
Scraps.
The older sister of Goob. Scraps is gifted with her brilliant inventions and crafts that she likes to show off to others, and she always encourages everyone to create one of their own. Scraps is described as having a Type A personality and often gets too caught up in her work to the point she forgets things at times. She also doesn't appreciate when her work is disturbed. Be sure to knock before entering.
Twisted Scraps. Threat level, passive and aggressive.
Same with Goob when she spawns without him. She won't have her body parts. Why is that? She's looking for her brother first. She prioritizes Goob before everything, even herself. Her selflessness is what saves the player from being attacked when she's without him. She wants to find her brother so she can repair his arms first before herself. When she is with him, don't come near Goob. She will think that you're a threat to him and will attack you with her mangled injection stinger that will slow you down for 5 seconds.
Abyssal Scraps and Goob.
In this form, both siblings have been fused into a single entity. Long cables pierce and sew their bodies. Their faces have been deformed, and in their eyes it lights a combination of unapologetic agony and shared pain. On Scraps' side, they have lost an arm. Meanwhile, Goob's side possesses one disproportionately big, as if all the remaining strength was concentrated on it. Even on this state of horror, it's possible that Scraps continues to prioritize her brother, protecting him even when there's nothing of what they once were.
Roger.
The current caretaker and the handler for Toodles. Roger is a clever and logical toon. He has a talent for solving mysteries with his keen eye and photographic memory. He has a polite and well-mannered personality, speaks with consideration and care. In short, he's a gentleman. His care for his peers becomes more apparent when giving out advice he thinks will benefit them most.
Twisted Roger. Threat level, aggressive.
Once you wake him up too many times, he will roam around with his many eyes. Allowing him to wander around can be problematic though, since he can pick up capsules, taking away the research needed. Twisted Roger has great eyesight, so he won't be getting off your back easily. Do refrain from looking into his eyes. Twisted Roger will project red light into your eyes, temporarily blinding you for 5 seconds. Allow him to catch up to you, and then he will attempt to tear you apart for waking him up.
Shrimpo.
The antagonist of the show, causing trouble for Dandy and friends. He seems to never learn his lesson. No one likes a bully. Shrimpo is an abrasive toon with no filter and always speaks what's on his mind. He's always being brutally honest and will put you back in your place with no remorse. He greatly despises physical contact. One poke with no acknowledgement is enough to make him instantly dislike you.
Twisted Shrimpo. Threat level, dangerous.
Twisted Shrimpo packs a powerful punch or a headbutt, since his fist and his face are all now covered with exposed bones and teeth. One punch will send you flying away from him, taking away a portion of your health. In short, just don't go near him, even after he is twisted. He still wants nothing to do with you. If he's walking toward you, just step aside and let him through. It's simple. If you decide to play God with him by getting in his way too many times, he might go on a rampage. Those exposed bones also work as his mouth, so expect to get bitten by him if you decide to piss him off.
Abyssal Shrimpo.
In his abyssal form, Shrimpo possesses multiple eyes and rows of sharp teeth that emerge from his head as if they were designed to shred. His torso reveals multiple mouths that seem to breathe independently of each other, leaving behind a disturbing and dampened sound. His limbs transform into long, sharp legs, curved like blades ready to cut everything on their way.
Fin.
Quite an expert on marine biology, he'll teach you all there is to sea life through fishing and through his iconic fish puns. He's highly extroverted and will talk about fish with the first person he sees. A light-hearted guy with enough kindness for all his friends. Finn is not a fan of seafood, but he doesn't mind when his friends want to enjoy it.
Twisted Fin. Threat level, dangerous.
In Horror World, Finn can be seen sitting on top of boxes, kicking his feet and humming. It's rather disturbing to listen to, because when he hums it sounds more like that one person is singing. The fishing rod in his arm gives him the ability to fish for tunes. The bait is tied to one of the items that are on the ground. You can spot if it's a trap by looking for the subtle fishing line attached to the item. If you want said item, you'll need to cut the line with scissors or a knife, or you'll get baited. If a player is caught in his hook, they will be forced to spam the spacebar to escape. It will deal little damage. If the player wasn't able to spam hard enough, they will be reeled in by Twisted Fin, where he will maul the player, taking a chunk of health away.
Glisten.
A flamboyant toon who enjoys fame and attention. His ego and pride can be described as huge, and he claims to be perfect in every way. He becomes a bit defensive if told otherwise. Glisten is playful, outgoing, and charismatic. He wants to be included with his buds and talk about how perfect he is. In Garden View, Glisten is known as a fashion designer and seamstress, creating outfits for his peers. He wants everyone to feel pretty with the clothes he makes.
Twisted Glisten. Threat level, lethal.
This Twisted puts you on edge right off the bat, for he already knows where you're located and is constantly moving towards you. This Twisted can phase through walls. The saving grace is that he is slow. Listen carefully for Twisted Glisten. The sound he makes are similar to the ambience. Do not let him catch you at any cost. He's the lethal type. Keep moving and look out from where this Twisted is coming from. Blackouts with him will be severely challenging, and the player will have to rely on the audio cue.
Tisha.
This cyan tissue box loves to clean and dislikes any form of messiness. Her love for cleanliness can sometimes come off as obsessive. Tisha possesses a strict and perfectionist personality. If a toon disrespects her work in any way, she will force them to clean their own mess, teaching those around her to pick up after themselves and be responsible. She's hard on others' cleanliness because she cares about all her friends' health.
Twisted Tisha. Threat level aggressive.
Twisted Tisha doesn't like for her work to be disturbed. Making any sort of mess is enough to tick her off. She carries a mace that is infused with her feather duster. Those spikes gotta hurt. Getting hit by her can be a bit of an annoyance, for when she lands a hit on the player will drop their items onto the floor. If the player doesn't pick it up quickly, Twisted Tisha will clean up the mess. This will make the items despawn, and you'll be unable to get them back. Players are able to distract this toon by dropping items in front of her.
Cosmo.
A sweet and caring toon who inspires those around him to be generous and considerate. Cosmo is anxious during stressful situations, sometimes slipping up from too much pressure. He also tends to be a bit clueless at times. Baking is his specialty. He bakes sweet treats for all his friends, even keeping a book about what every toon's favorite sweets are. He often spends the majority of his time baking with his best friend, Sprout.
Twisted Cosmo. Threat level aggressive.
When Cosmo feels lonely without his best friend, it makes him fall into a deep depression. This Twisted can poison the edible food that lies on the ground or in crates. This poison will decrease movement speed and invert the controls for 5 seconds. The player that's able to tell if the food is poisoned, but it's subtle. Some edibles will have black ichor stains on it, meaning it's poisoned. Cosmo will chase down and attack you, hoping you've gotten food poisoning from the snacks so that he can catch you.
Poppy.
Poppy has a bubbly and extroverted personality, highly social and outgoing. She forms committed friendships with most of the toons. She encourages those around her to be brave and to try their best. She loves a good challenge and never backs down, determined to accomplish her mission. Sometimes she jumps into situations without much thought and ends up getting herself into trouble.
Twisted Poppy. Threat level aggressive.
Twisted Poppy intentionally damages machines, forcing the player to repair them. She carries her wrench with her. When spawning with Twisted Poppy on said floor, some of the machines will be already damaged. If the player messes up a skill check, Poppy will come over to the machine and damage it, slowing the extraction speed and taking away some of the extraction progress the player has made. She may look very ichor consumed, but she has the threat level of aggressive, meaning she isn't as consumed as she may seem.
Boxton.
A music box who likes to work with metallurgy, Boxton has a knack for metalworks and likes to create new items from old materials. Sometimes he melts down his old projects to create new ones. Boxton is a creative but anxious toon, whether in a social setting with large crowds or a stressful private situation. He tends to worry, becoming pessimistic and paranoid. If the situation becomes drastic, he can have a panic attack, and then he depends on his fellow toons to help him out.
Twisted Boxton. Threat level aggressive.
Twisted Boxton is known for treading near the machines, so study his path and complete the machine when he's not looking. The arms in his head have broken the original ones and have basically become his new arms. His right arm has exposed burns, so don't let him stab you with that. This Twisted is always on the verge of a panic attack, constantly checking machines, as he fears they might blow up. He worries too much, poor fella.
Abyssal Boxton.
In his abyssal form, Boxton possesses a torso with no limbs, letting us see a mass of bones and twisted flesh pieces hanging under his chest. The hands that once sprouted from his box have now been deformed, becoming long legs that emerge from open teeth and jaws, as if they devoured everything on their way. His box-shaped head no longer holds any face, only one mouth filled with teeth.
Flutter.
Flutter is a supportive friend and always quick to spread kindness. Despite her disability, she often finds a way to cheer up the other toons. Being mute is not easy, but Flutter doesn't let that hold her back from expressing herself. Using her wings, she has learned to speak the American Sign Language, ASL, to communicate with others easily. Flutter teaches those around her that people with disabilities can still accomplish just as much as any other person can.
Twisted Flutter. Threat level deadly.
This Twisted rests on her web in peace. If any nearby toon walks past her, though, Flutter will turn her head and look at the player. It's passive as long as you don't walk into her. If a toon gets stuck in the web, they should refrain from struggling. If you struggle, Flutter will slowly start to freak out and her head will begin to violently shake. These are signs she's feeling threatened and is preparing to attack. Wait for another player to get you out of the web. If you continue to struggle, this will cause Flutter to open her chest plate and turn into a literal spider. She'll go at extreme speed in your direction and kill you.
Abyssal Flutter.
In her abyssal form, the only recognizable thing is her heart-shaped head, from which, now we can observe, emerges a series of sharp teeth and an eye peeking from the inside. Her body is covered by multiple eyes, and she lacks any protective skin, letting us see her crude and gross appearance. The shape of the body reminds that of a bug, with several long and sharp legs, and a tail ending on the stinger, as if she is ready to attack at any second.
Connie.
Don't let her cute looks fool you. Connie is a mischievous prankster. She enjoys getting reactions and can be quite a snark when bored. Despite her attitude, she cares deeply for her friends. She often snoops around or eavesdrops when nothing interesting is happening. She's charismatic, relentless, and always looking to have some fun.
Abyssal Connie.
Connie does not possess a twisted version. She has transformed into her abyssal form directly. Her previous, playful appearance now adopts a spectral and frightening demean. Her mouth opens unnaturally, revealing a row of sharp teeth and small cavities on her gums, giving her a grotesque and disturbing aura. Her eye sockets have several minuscule orifices spreading on them. From these we can observe small eyes emerging, seeing in all directions. She has long arms with thin and sharp fingers, and a body with no specific shape, as if she was made out of a thin layer of mist, probably due to her ghostly nature.
Looey.
A fun-loving, goofy toon. Looey is the team's DJ, known for spreading smiles through music and comedy. He can turn chores into something fun and demonstrates that even mundane tasks can be joyful if done right. Looey's presence lifts morale and keeps the team moving.
Twisted Looey. Threat level, passive.
Like Twisted V, Twisted Looey has his own floor. His floor resembles a club with a dance floor, DJ setup, giant speakers, neon lights, glow sticks, etc. Twisted Looey is merged with his DJ setup, unable to move despite his long body. All he could do is twist his body to the direction that you're in, watching you. Twisted Looey plays music that echoes throughout the entire floor and boosts all the other Twisteds that have spawned alongside him, increasing their demand. Work diligently and avoid taking damage.
Blot.
The Ink Blot Toon, a member of the party department. Blot works as the club's bartender, serving drinks to adults and sparking conversations. His moody appearance may give the impression that he's gloomy or depressed, but in reality he's cheerful and optimistic. Blot can shift his body shape based on his desires, sometimes skinny, sometimes chubby, depending on how he feels that day.
Twisted Blot.
Twisted Blot's shape is quite an uncanny figure. His main body is a dark mass of ink, shapeless and slimy. It seems to be slowly expanding as if it could consume anything in its way. From this mass it emerges a humanoid shape similar to that of a harlequin, with an expressionless white mask which uplifts the sinister look. In its surroundings we can observe rigid and long tucks which remind of flower petals or the classic adornments of a jester's hat, giving it a theatrical and macabre aspect.
Yatta.
An arcade attendant and party planner in the party department, she's hyper, energetic, and struggles to sit still. While she can be interruptive or impatient, she means well. Her bubbly energy is infectious. Yatta encourages her friends to see themselves in a positive light and always tries to boost morale.
Twisted Yatta.
On her twisted version, Yatta has lost both their head and legs. Her body hangs tied up by pink ribbons as if she was, ironically, a sinister piñata. On her torso, a mouth covered by sharp teeth opens up, and her arms seem to have been corrupted by ichor. Her hands end in long and slender fingers, which gives her an even more unnerving appearance.
Brightney.
Brightney is intelligent, caring, and composed. A natural at medicine. Even under stress, She remains focused and kind, always making time for those in need. She's president of the book club and the team's medical lead. She teaches those around her, keeps a tab on her teammates' health, and runs regular checkups to ensure everyone's doing well.
Twisted Brightney. Threat level, dangerous.
This Twisted has long needle-like arms which allows her to do long-range damage, and a freakishly tall figure. She only attacks those who emit or hold the light. Holding a candle or any sort of light will cause her to go berserk, for she cannot stand the light. She's a fast toon, so if the player is holding a light, they must put it away as quickly as possible and save themselves. For those who play as a toon who emit light, for example V, they'd have to keep great distance from her. If a player doesn't have any sort of light, the player is safe from her, for she will ignore them.
Abyssal Brightney.
In her abyssal form, Brightney possesses a completely different and disturbing appearance. Her body is thin and pitch black. She has 3 pairs of arms and long sharp ends. Her torso seems to have opened, letting us observe a crumpled mass of exposed organs. Her head is covered by several red eyes. Each of them radiates an intense red beam, cutting through the darkness like a wicked lighthouse. The amalgamation of her slender limbs and that frightening light makes her sole presence submerge you into a desperate dread.
Razzle and Dazzle.
The polar opposite twins. Razzle is excitable and friendly with an optimistic outlook on life. When Dazzle is gloomy and pessimistic with a depressive outlook, despite their differences, they both accept each other. They share an interest and talent for filmmaking. Razzle writes and scripts. Dazzle focuses on artistic design. Together they can create beautiful film and could teach a thing or two about acting.
Twisted Razzle and Dazzle. Threat level, passive.
This Twisted is passive. They don't do any harm to the player, but they sure can be a pest. R&D have veins throughout the entire map that stick out from the ground that function as a trap and an alarm. When triggered, the veins will make screeching sounds, alerting the other Twisteds within that area to your current location. When a player threads near R&D's line of sight, Razzle and Dazzle will simply look at them, with the disturbing mismatched expression of theirs. You'll be fine, as long as you don't trigger the alarm.
Abyssal Razzle and Dazzle.
In their abyssal form, the bodies of Razzle and Dazzle have been melted into the environment through the red veins that connected them to it, as if they were themselves the living sentients behind the stage, observing in silence and waiting for your every move. One extends into the floor and the other to the ceiling. Their masks are now completely separate and show opposite, although their expressions transmit deep feelings of unease. Razzle possesses a disturbing, unnatural smile, while Dazzle shows one of profound sadness and agony.
Toodles.
An energetic little 8-ball, Toodles is optimistic and curious. If there's a mystery, she wants to solve it. Though she's afraid of the dark, she faces her fears to appear brave. She helps Roger whenever she can, but feels bummed when she's not allowed to participate.
Twisted Toodles. Threat level, dangerous.
Her twisted version is rather unsightly to look at. The ichor has corrupted her in such a way that her lower half-body is twisted backwards, giving her the ability to climb walls. Her eyes are located at the back of the mouth, and her mouth has multiple rows of sharp teeth. Beware, due to her color palette, she tends to hide in dark areas. She may hang on the ceiling as well. You can spot her if you have sharp vision and pay enough attention. Her mouth is always open, revealing those red eyes of hers, so look for the pair of eyes peeking in the dark. Another note is that the crack on her head is constantly leaking ichor, so if you see ichor dripping from the ceiling, you may be strolling too close to her. She will drop from the ceiling to get you. As the memes go, this Twisted actually gives the player a debuff when bitten that works similar to actual rabies. But instead of fear of water, you experience fear of ichor. This will decrease the extraction speed of a toon and sometimes forces the character off the machine until they can calm down. The only way to rid of this effect is to have a medic on your team to heal you.
Giggy.
A laid-back gachapon toon who loves teasing her fellow toons and occasionally swiping their stuff. She's messy, disorganized, and terrible at keeping promises, but she's also friendly and playful. Giggy treats her vast item collection like a treasure and bristles at any suggestion to clean it up. She thrives on her silliness and show-off, and while her chaotic habits frustrate others, there's no malice behind them, just a mischievous streak.
Twisted Giggy.
In her twisted version, Giggy suffers a drastic transformation. Her gachapon head is now broken. Her brain, which is now covered in embedded parts. A huge mouth filled with long teeth stand out from her face, giving her a ferocious and disturbing look. Her hands grew into disproportionate shapes, becoming monstrous, and from her body numerous legs emerge, highlighting her new grotesque and threatening figure. Vita Biosphere has added the latest tunes included in Dandy's World, Brusha and Dial, although we haven't seen their twisted versions, but the ones we have had the privilege of seeing them, they have been the Easter and Christmas tunes.
Bassie, Coco, Flight, Eggson, Bobette, Cole, Rudy, and Ginger.
If you want to follow up the development of this alternative universe, don't forget to give Vita_Biosphere a follow. And remember to always